Hi, students. It's time for Art Week again, and let's start off with Godzilla of the Week. So first, let's talk about the voting. It was a special Gamera week. Gamera is a flying turtle, like Godzilla, that fights monsters. And so the votes for Legion, which is a Gamera enemy, was only 4. He was in last place. Iris was 7. And of course, Gamera got the most votes at 20 votes. So Gamera's the winner. So here he is. Let's see here. He's pretty rad, a lot of detail. I painted all that detail, like the eyes. Eyes look amazing. Shell. So Gamera is typically more goofy than Godzilla. Look at that cool airbrushed shell right here, like detail. Looks amazing. All right. Gamera is, in the old Gamera movies, he is super goofy. He is like way sillier than Godzilla. But in these later movies, he was pretty cool. So it was like it was like Gamera 1995, which is like before you were born. Which in 1995 that was a pretty new thing because the original Gamera was like 1965 or something like that. So, but this Gamera is pretty cool. In fact, in a third movie where he fights Iris, he's even more spiky and kind of not scary, but kind of more mean looking. He's pretty cool. But this is the first new Gamera that they had, and he's pretty sweet. Look at that mouth detail, amazing. So that's Gamera. That's Gamera. Okay, so now let's talk about art class stuff. First, some new things that are happening in our art class. First, I'm putting due dates on your projects. That way you know when to turn them in. I just figured you would turn them in after the week where we finished it. I figured you would just do it and turn it in. But nope, I had to be more clearer and add a due date, so I did. So there's a due date now where you can turn, so you know when to turn in your artwork to your classroom. Basically, it's going to be the week after we finished it, right? So just be aware of that. So you're going to work on your project. It'll be due the next week. And usually it's when we finish it. So I'll say, okay, turn it in, right? You don't have to turn in when it's like partially finished. It's like when it's done, you know, usually because sometimes our projects are 2 or 3 weeks. I'll tell you, okay, this is it, it's done, turn it in next week. But I have the date, so you can turn it in. Also, I have your grades up on PowerSchool. Now, I didn't want to do grades. I do grades. I put them in my paper book. I put all my grades in there, and then you don't know what you got. I just want you to work hard and do the best you can. I don't want you to worry about your grades. But lots of my students do worry about their grades, and they want to know exactly what grade they're getting. And so you can see your grades now. So I put your grades in PowerSchool. So you can have your mom check, or you can check, I assume you can check. Or maybe it's just your parents in PowerSchool, I don't know. But you'll be able to find out your grades. Grades are usually, your grade will usually be within the range of 8 to 9.5. So like 9.5 is like really good. That's like you did awesome. A lot of students do pretty good, and that's like a 9. So that's pretty good. 9. That's like an A minus. Whatever, A minus, right? And then some students will get an 8.5. 8.5. What, an 8? I didn't get an A? It's still a good grade. It just means that I wanted to see you work, put more effort. Like maybe I could just tell, like you didn't put as much work into it. Or maybe you didn't follow the videos very closely, like just following directions. Like maybe you did some things that, like I said again and again, like, hey, be sure you outline this, and you didn't outline it. You know, I said like 4 times. That happens. I was like that when I was a kid. But anyway, so you got an 8.5. Big deal. If you got an 8.5 and that bothers you, then just work more carefully and slowly and put more effort into it next time and you'll probably improve. So just work a little harder, slow down, take your time, put more effort into it, be more careful, follow the videos a little more carefully, and you'll be great. You'll do fine. Get a 9. And then sometimes once in a while, there'll be like an 8. And an 8 just means, I can kind of tell, you did it like, I don't know, like in 5 minutes, or you did it real fast. It looked like you were super rushed, and it was just an 8. So whatever. But no big deal. Don't worry about your grades. If you got like an 8.5 and you want a 9, just put more work into it next time. Also, at the end of the trimester, there will be there will be some participation points. So like, let's say you get a lot of 8.5s and you're working really hard and that's the best you can do is an 8.5. If you did all your work and you did everything and you worked hard and you still got 8.5s, the participation points will help raise your grade some. So don't worry. I don't want you to worry about your grade. I just want you to worry about working hard and trying to do the best job you can and slowing down and take your time. You got lots of time at home. You got lots of time to work on your homework. So take your time and enjoy it. And or just you'll find, even if you don't enjoy it, if you spend more time and you do a better job, you will enjoy the results. So just take your time and do better and you'll do fine. So anyways, you can check PowerSchool and see your grade. Now, if there's the only grades I've graded so far are the projects that are due, and they're not even due yet. They're due like next week. But a lot of you have turned in your homework already, so I put the grades in. Now, if you turned in a project but there's not a grade, you're like, hey, how come I don't have a grade? Maybe it's because your project was a no-name, like you didn't put your name on the back of your paper. I have about like 3 of those projects. I have like 3 projects that don't have a name, actually more like maybe like 4. And so if you didn't get a grade and you're like, hey, I totally turned this in, what's up? Then send me a nice email and I'll check. I'll be checking early this week. So like Tuesday and Wednesday, what it's going to be. It's going to be, what day is it going to be? I'll be checking like the 15th of September. So I'll be in school the 15th and I'll check. I have a few no names. So don't panic. Just if you did it, I'll check. Or maybe you sent me a picture. If you sent me a picture, I've checked them all. So maybe you sent me a picture. Maybe you can just send me that picture again. Like maybe you had mom or dad send me a picture. Send it again or upload it to Canvas. You can do, there's a lot of different things you can do. You know, you can have your parents email me a picture. You can upload a picture to Canvas. Also, you can just bring it to school and I'll check it, you know. You'll put it in your big art folder in your classroom. And then finally, I have a folder in the office. So like if your parents want to drop off your artwork but they can't go to your classroom, there's a art folder in the office where they can just turn in your artwork there. And they can get supplies. So like if you missed a supply, you're like, oh, I missed that. Whatever I'm working on this week, I missed that paper. They can get it in that folder. So like they can just go to the office. So that's pretty convenient. So there's a lot of different options for your parents to help you, you know, and do. But anyways, so check that. Now, one more thing. Let's see. There's due dates, right? Due dates. Our projects are due. So we have a couple projects that are due September 17th. So for 4th grade, we have our Rubik's Cube Perspective and our Campbell Soup Cans are both due the 17th. And then, and you might be thinking, well, how come they're both due the 17th? Shouldn't the Campbell Soup Cans be due later? Well, no, not really. The Perspective, we should have finished that a long time ago. So because I'm putting the new due dates in, they're just both due on the Campbell Soup Can day, just so that you know, turn it in, right? So those Rubik's Cubes, Perspective, and Campbell Soup Cans are due the 17th. That's for 4th grade. 5th grade, you have your VCS Perspective and your Starbucks Doodle. those are due the 17th. So 2 projects due. 4th grade is 2 projects, 5th grade is 2 projects due the 17th. And then 6th grade, they only have 1 project due the 17th, and that's the prospective city. Because 6th grade, we have another 3-week project, and you have a little more time to finish that second project. So 6th grade, you need to turn in your prospective city project by September 17th, okay? Now, what happens if you didn't turn it in on time? What's going to happen? Is there a penalty? Not really, no. But what's going to happen is if you don't turn in your work when it's due, I'm going to put a temporary 0 into the place where the grade would be. So like instead of a 9 or an 8.5, you're going to get a 0. Now that doesn't mean you're going to end up with a 0. That just means I don't have your project, it's a 0. When you turn in your project, I will change the 0 to be whatever your grade is. So I'll grade it and I'll change it. But what happens is your parents who love you and they're checking up on your grades because they're looking out for your best interest, they might see that 0 and they'll be like, so-and-so, how come you have a 0 for this project in art? And you'd be like, Mom. What you don't say is, well, it's because I've been playing video games and watching TV for the last month. That's a tip for Mr. Smith. Don't say that. Just say, oh yeah, I haven't finished it yet. I better finish it today. And that's how you make your parents happy. You say, I'm going to work on it before I play video games and watch TV today. That's the correct answer that you tell your parents. I'm a parent, so I know what you're supposed to say to them. And they'll be like, okay. That might make them not so mad at you if you, instead of making an excuse, you just say, I'm going to work on it right now. Right? So anyways, but that 0 will tell your parents, hey, you got to finish this project. It'll tell you too. Also, if you get a 0, but you're like, I totally turned in that project. I don't know what happened. Then maybe you're a no-name, right? So maybe your project, maybe you turned in your project, but you didn't write your name on it. So I don't know that it was from you. So send me a nice email. I'll look for it and we'll talk about it. So don't panic if you turned it in. Remember, the 0 is only bad at the end of the trimester, okay? Because what happens is, let's say you don't turn in 2 of your assignments, right? Let's say you turn in only like 1 of 3 projects, right? Then that means those other 2 projects are going to be 0s. And you can still turn them in up to the end of the trimester, but at the end of the trimester, it's too late. Those 0s are permanent 0s, and that is going to make your grade very low. So you don't want that to happen. So don't let your projects become 0s. Just, that's supposed to be a warning, like, oh my gosh, I have to finish my work so that I don't end up with a 0 at the end of the trimester. And the end of the trimester is coming very soon. That is why I am nudging you to do this. So make sure you finish your work when it's due, turn it in, and I'll grade it. Sometimes I may not, like, so if you turn in your, like, let's see, I think 6th grade, they have a project that's due the 24th, right, of September. So, like, I'm not going to grade, I may not grade it the 24th. I may not have your project yet. I might grade it over the next week. So don't panic. Like, when if you have a line, like if you have no grade, that means I haven't graded it yet. But if you have a 0, that means I graded it and I didn't have your project, all right? But sometimes I don't grade them like the minute that it's due because I have to collect them and, in fact, I'm not even on school on Thursday, but we'll worry about that later. Anyways, the point is just finish your projects and turn them in, and then you don't have to worry. That's it, right? So make sure you work on your projects, turn them in. The due dates are on Canvas, so you can check. I'll send you an email. You've probably already gotten the email because I'm filming this before I've sent out my email. So your parents will know about this. They'll know to check PowerSchool to see what your awesome grades are and stuff like that. So anyways, so be aware of that. So make sure you finish all your projects and turn them in. Hi, 6th graders. We're finishing our line cut series. And today we're going to use orange and blue. Now before we did yellow and purple. and red and green, right? So I'm going to put these away for now, but we'll review these later. So we have 3 of these, right? And your name is going to be on the back of all 3 of these papers, okay? Make sure you stay till the end of the video because I'm going to have a quiz for you. Isn't that fun? The quiz is easy. It better be easy. I'm going to give you the answers for the quiz, or I'm going to review the information. It's only a few questions on the quiz, like not that hard. But make sure you watch the end of the video as well. Don't just skip it, because I will have quiz information. You get a quiz this week. It's only going to be 4 or 5 questions. I believe it's going to be 5 questions, and it's going to be worth 10 points. But it's going to be easy. So it's going to be easy 10 points. I just want to make sure you're awake and interacting on Canvas. So anyways, you can take that quiz, but stay to the end. Okay, so we have our final cut line in our series. Boy, that autofocus. We have orange and blue. These are complementary colors. Orange is a complement of blue. Also, orange is a warm color, meaning it's warm, it feels warm, kind of like fire. Blue is a cool color, obviously because it feels like water or ice, right? These are the easiest warm and cool colors because they're like, duh, obvious, you know, fire and ice. Okay, but the other colors are warm and cool too, and we'll talk about that. Anyways, we want to finish our final line here. So here's what we're going to do. For this final line, boy, that autofocus, what the heck? Do I have to do it here so it doesn't blur? Okay, here we go. We're going to have zigzags and curved lines. So let's start with a zigzag. Now don't make your zigzag too crazy because then you're going to have to cut it out. And you want to do it in the center of your paper. So I'm going to go zigzag. Like not too crazy. Let's see here. There. All right. There it is. Now you want this to be a line. So let's see what I'm going to do here. Well, no, it's okay. I'm going to do it like this. Okay, so I'm going to have a wavy line underneath here. Let's see. So curved line. And then I'm also going to have a curved line over here. Try not to make it identical, right? It can be different. Don't add too many waves because then it'll be like hard to cut out, right? So anyway, zigzag, curvy, curvy. On the bottom, I want to have a zigzag. Don't go too far up, but let me show you. Let's see. Let me get rid of this blue. Go away, blue. I'm going to put the blue right here so it blocks that light reflection. Zigzag. Let's see. When you do your zigzag, try not to go all the way to the bottom of the paper because when you cut it, if you go all the way to the end, your jaggy line will fall apart. So notice how I'm leaving a little bit of space. I'm not going all the way to the bottom. There, see, I left a little space in there. Okay, I'm going to do the same on this side. A little different. Kind of like a wave, or it can be whatever you want. There, it can be, it's kind of spontaneous. Remember, this doesn't touch because you want to leave a little space when you cut this out. You don't want this line to fall off, right? Okay, so far so good. So how many lines do we have? We got 1 in the middle, 2 wavy, that's 3, 4, 5. So we got 5 lines so far. We have a combination of zigzags or angled lines and smooth curved lines. We're doing both to get maximum dynamic look. Now, what we want to do though is we want to double up this line, and this line so that way when we cut them out, we can use them. So this is where you kind of, you don't have to match it exactly, but you can try to match it, but you want to leave about 1/2 of an inch or more. It could be a little more than 1/2 an inch. In fact, I'll probably do a little more, but you're going to follow that line so that way you can actually cut out that strip. So watch, I'm going to do it. Here we go. I'm going to start with this curvy line. So that's about 3/4, or I don't know, 1/2 an inch to 3/4. It can get thick and thin too. Like I can do this and get a little thinner. Yeah, you can do that. Don't get too thin because then when you cut it, it might fall apart or you might cut it, right? I like getting thick and thin on this line, so I'm going to do that on my zigzag too. So again, I want to double up the zigzag line. Some of it will get kind of bigger, but then it'll get kind of closer. Maybe some of it will be the same. I don't know. There. So it wasn't perfect. It was close. I was trying to be inventive and spontaneous. Spontaneous means you're not thinking about it and you're just kind of doing it. Whatever. There it is. So I doubled up that line. So you can see that when I cut this out, it'll be its own strip. Okay, I want to double up this one. I'm going to go thick and thin here. So maybe a little thicker there, a little thinner here, thick, thin, there. So that gives me some variety. Not too thin, because remember I got to cut it out. You don't have to do this on the top and the bottom. Those are their own little strips. So that's it. So far we have, what did we started with? A zigzag, 2 curves, and then zigzags on the ends. But we doubled up the 3 lines in the middle. We doubled up this curvy line, I doubled up this zigzag, and I doubled up this curvy line. Okay, now I just got to cut it out. So I'm going to cut it out real quick, and you're going to cut it out. Cut it out neatly. When you cut it out, you're going to flip it over, right? You know, before I even do that, I'm going to put the name on the back of my paper. Make sure your name's on the back of your paper. And then the class you're in. So if you're in like Vanderdusen's, you'll put like a VD, circle it. If you're in a Vanderkerk, you can put a VK. Corver, K, and then who else do we have? Woodhead, W, circle it, right? So, you know, that helps me organize all of your projects. Okay, so I'm going to cut out my, oh boy, this is going to be kind of a pain. So it takes some time. So take your time when you cut out your zigzags and stuff. I might go a little faster than what you would normally do because I'm sure you don't want to wait around for me to cut out all my strips. If you want, though, what you can do is fast forward to the end of me cutting out all my strips. That way you don't have to watch me cut out my strips, because it's pretty straightforward what's going to happen here. Or you can just watch it. You can just listen to my voice. Now remember, you're going to flip them over, because when we glue them, we don't want the pencil side. We want the non-pencil line side. So I'm going to put that there. I'm going to cut out all my lines. So like I said, you can fast forward to the end of me cutting out all my strips. Or you can listen to me. How are you doing? I'm doing pretty good. It's hot though, although today it wasn't too bad. Make sure you all turn in your homework. Okay, there's my next one. Let's see here. It's gonna take forever. I'm going a little faster than normal. You're gonna slow down and try to cut as neatly as possible. Me, I got nothing to prove. I'm not getting graded. Isn't that nice? You're like, hey, that's unfair, Mr. Smith. Well, study art, do a real good job, and then you can be the art teacher, and then you don't have to worry about being graded when you're the teacher. The irony, though, is you have to prove yourself and work really hard while you're becoming an art teacher, so you get graded very harshly. And then finally, when you're the teacher, you don't have to worry about it anymore. I guess that goes for any kind of teaching. If you're a math student, oh man, you have to do all that hard work. Math is a little more concrete, though, and you really have to make sure, you know, I guess you can't get your mathematics wrong. It's not as, there's not necessarily some neatness in math, although I must say, when you're writing complicated formulas, you want to be neat and clear with all of your, you know, equations. So I mean, you could claim that. Okay, cutting out my zigzag here. Remember, after I cut it out, I flip it on the other side because I don't want to see that pencil line. Okay. Oh, I messed up. Oh, that was bad. My scissors got. Did you see it? My scissors got stuck on that zigzag. Oh, that was a shame. Dude. Okay, I'm cutting. Okay. Oh, I gotta flip it. Okay. Last cut. Can't even see what I'm doing. That was, sorry about that. Wow. Off camera. Okay. Okay. I've cut them all out. Okay. So I got a lot of lines, and we have, oh, that's great. Okay. On the top and the bottom, if if it fell apart into little triangles, just try to arrange them and just try to glue them. Hopefully, you, like I said, you left a little bit of space, you know, to the edge of the paper so that it became a strip, right? If not, then it'll be harder for you. Now, we definitely need we need the top and the bottom strips, so we need these two for sure. Then you can pick your strips, because we can't put every strip in there. Some of these big, goofy strips, they were like in between the kind of the strips we're focusing on. But if you really like some of these, you can use them, right? But you can't use every strip, right? So I'm going to get rid of these. And you can kind of decide. In fact, what I can do is I'm going to get my blue paper, and I'm going to, before I glue it down, I'm just going to organize my strips. Remember, the pencil line is flipped over so that it's nice and clean. I don't want to see any pencil lines. And you're like, oh, I can erase it. Oh, no, that's like a pain. Like, that's not going to work very well. And neatness is key. Now, this was originally kind of up here, but who says I have to put it up there? I can put it here. I could put it here. I could flip it around as long as the pencil's on the other side, right? I could flip it around. I can do whatever I want with that thing. So you want to find a nice composition. A composition is how the shapes and colors are displayed on your project, right? So, you know, originally this was right in the middle. Maybe I want to put it up here. I kind of want it to be in the middle, but I'm doing that because I'm talking about rearranging the the thing. Okay, so let's see, how many strips do I have here? I got 5 strips, top and bottom, and 3 in the middle. So I want to see 5 strips minimum. Okay, and these are the main ones we focused on, top and bottom, and then the 3 strips in the middle. But let's say you don't like one of your strips. Let's say you, I don't know, one of them didn't turn out very well, but you really like another one. You can totally replace one. It's up to you. Like, I can use this one. This one's kind of interesting because it has, technically this one is better. Boy, maybe I will use it. I want to fit in my other one though. This one's really good because it has a curve and a zigzag on the same stripe. So technically, that's pretty awesome. Boy, I like it, but I really liked this one too. I'm kind of sad if I don't use this one. I like this one. This one looks neater because it's thin and kind of uniform strip. But this one feels, I like it. I like this one a lot better. You know, maybe I'll just go for this one. Okay, fine. I want to see if I can squeeze it in. Squeeze it in? Not really. I'm going to squeeze it in. You don't want them to overlap. Try to avoid that. Like if they touch, like you have no choice and they touch a little bit, that's fine. It's okay if they're close. Like they can, let's see. It's hard because they don't match perfectly, but if they're really close, that's okay. Some can be, you can have a little more distance if you want. The problem is, I don't know, like you can rearrange this however you want, but once you get it just right, you can, see, this is dangerous because I'm fitting a lot extras in. Okay, once you get it just right, you're going to glue it. So I'm going to use, I guess I'm using Elmer's. You can use glue stick.
Whoa. You can't hold it. I was hoping Gamera could hold it, but he can't. Okay, I'm using glue. Remember, when you use glue, it's dot dot not a lot, or very very little. Let's see, I'm going to use very little. And we talked about this, so I don't think I need to talk about this anymore. And you can always kind of blend it with your orange tip. I think my problem is I don't use enough because I'm always super careful. It's better to not use enough than to use too much. That's all I gotta say. And to not get it all over your hands like what I just did. Okay. So I'm gonna glue this real quick and then we're gonna talk about our quiz. So we're gonna have a quiz. And you're like, oh, Mr. Smith, how dare you? Why do I have a quiz? Well, first off, the quiz is easy. I mean, you can't beat that. It's an easy quiz. So if you mess up, that's going to be embarrassing. I'm going to give you the answers. You have to remember them. So just remember them and then you'll do fine on the quiz. The only thing on the quiz, it'll be a little tricky because it'll be multiple choice. So sometimes students like fake themselves out. That's how you can mess up, is if you fake yourself out. So just don't fake yourself out. Just get a perfect just get a perfect score. I don't think I'm gonna have enough room. I'm ditching this guy. Looks like I used a little too much glue there. How embarrassing. I'm the teacher. Okay. So anyways, I'll give you some quiz information very soon. I'm just gonna glue this down. Remember, you're gonna take your time to glue this neatly. I'm blending my glue. Glue sticks work good too, so you can use glue sticks. Usually don't bubble up as much. Okay, got my big cool strip here. Okay, check. 2 more strips. Don't be in a hurry. I'm in a hurry because I'm filming a video. You can take your time. You can pause the video, watch it. Okay. Okay, here we go. Hopefully these were not hard for you. Oh gosh, look at that. Hopefully these were not hard. These should have been simple. If they were hard, then good. I mean, you needed practice, like cutting and gluing carefully. But if they were easy, then that's okay too. That's why we did 3 of them. I mean, we're doing a series, and we'll talk about a series. It's kind of nice to have a series. Last year we only did 1 of these, but it was a little more complicated. So now we're kind of doing 3 easier ones, and we're creating a series. And series is kind of a nice thing to think about. Sometimes things by themselves are okay, but if they're in a series or a concert together with others, it helps strengthen all the different parts. And that's a good benefit. There, got it. That's the good benefit of a series of artwork. Okay, so here we go. So we've got blue here. So again, this looks okay, right? You're probably, yeah, that's okay, that's cool, whatever, you know. But again, with a series of these, with 3 of them, it really creates, well, one thing, it creates a bigger project, which is nice. It's kind of cool. And they look interesting together. Now, I can't show you, but I'd probably, you know, series in a museum, it also depends how you display them. Like, do I display them side by side like this? You can't even see it all. Do I stack them on top of each other? Do I put them, you know, whatever, at weird angles? So there's a lot of different ways that you can display series of artwork as well. But anyways, it was fun to do a series. Also, I wanted to do a series because I wanted to use all the complementary colors. We also have we have the primary and secondary colors. Now that's a lot of information. Not all that information is going to be on your quiz. Before we talk about the quiz, make sure your name is on the back of all 3 of these, and then you're going to turn them in together, just like this. Name's on the back, you'll turn it in, I'll get them, and I'll grade them. And I do grade these now, you know, so you heard the first part of this video that was really long. So I'll grade this. This is due September 24th, and I'll grade it, and then you'll see your grade on PowerSchool. Okay. So now, what's going to be on the quiz? Well, the first thing that's going to be on the quiz is complementary colors. Complementary colors are the opposites of colors. So, for instance, the opposite of red is green, right? And usually when you have complements, it's more dynamic. It creates, I could say energy, but it creates action, kind of. It's kind of, it's an opposite, right? So it's kind of interesting that way. So one question is going to be, what's the complement of green? Well, it's red, right? And if you forget while you're taking your quiz, just remember the colors we did. We did red and green. Red and green are complements. You're like, I'm going to forget that, Mr. Smith. I know. I would have. I have a terrible memory when I was a kid, too. So if you have a terrible memory, I have a visual memory, though. I have a visual memory. So if you don't have I forget if it's right brain or left brain, but if you have a visual memory, you can remember this project. Red and green, or green and red, are complements. It's one of our projects. Okay. Another question is going to be, what's the complementary color of purple or yellow? I'll say one of these colors. And it's the other. So if I say, what's the complement of yellow? It's going to be purple, right? And you can remember this project. Yellow and purple. We did yellow and purple. Okay, that's easy. You're like, Mr. Smith, this is going to be easy. Yeah, I know, but just be careful because you'd be surprised. People get questions wrong. Finally, the last complement is orange and blue. Now, this is a different kind of blue. This isn't like the typical blue. This is like a turquoise. But it's blue enough for what we're doing. So the complement of orange is turquoise. Blue. Orange and blue, right? So orange and blue, you'll remember orange and blue, yellow and purple, and red and green. Now, there's going to be another question. See, there's only 4 questions. I want our quiz to be worth 10 points. The other question is going to be warm and cool colors. So I'm going to say, what are warm and cool colors? And I'll probably just say true or false. I'll probably say true or false. Orange and blue are, maybe I'll do weird colors like I'll probably do this. I'll probably go true or false. Orange and blue are warm and cool colors. And that's true because orange is like fire, blue is like water or ice. And then I'll probably have like a weird, like a dumb easy one that'll be like brown and some people might argue you could argue I'll say like blue and black are warm and cool colors. It'll be like real obvious that those aren't warm and cool colors. Some people might argue that like brown might be kind of coolish, but it's more of a neutral. Art. There's a lot of different things to think about art, but obviously, orange and blue are not complements. Orange and blue are warm and cool, and brown and black are just, I don't know what they are, neutrals. Like technically, black is what? It's like the absence of color, right? They have all kinds of technical definitions of black and white, right? But anyways, so that'll be it. There'll be 5 questions. The complements, you know them. Red and green, yellow and purple, orange and blue. Warm and cool colors. Warm color is orange, cool color is blue. Easy, right? So that's going to be an easy 10 points. So you better get 10 points on that. It's going to be super easy. So there'll be a quiz this week. Now you'll have 2 weeks to work on that quiz. And you're like, oh good, that means I don't have to do it right away. I'll just wait till the last minute. No, just do it right away. It'll take you like 2 minutes to do this quiz. The only reason why I give you 2 weeks to work on that quiz is just in case you're having internet problems or maybe you can't access Canvas, you're having trouble. So you have 2 weeks. But man, if you don't do that quiz after 2 weeks, zero. There's no reason not to do this quiz. It's easy. So you have 2 weeks to do it. After that, because it's going to expire. It's going to expire after 2 weeks. So just make sure you do it. Okay? So that's it. So we're done with our series. This is due September 24th. Make sure your name is on the back. Turn it in to your big art folder in your classroom. If for some reason you need to have a parent turn it in, they can turn it in. There's an art folder in the office they can turn it into. Or you can just take pictures of these and email it to me. So you can have a parent take a picture of this, or if you have an iPad, you can take a picture of it and you can upload it to Canvas. So you can do that. I don't care how I see your artwork. I just want to see it so I can give you a grade. I would prefer to collect it though. So bring it to school. That's what I prefer. Hello, Blurry. I prefer that this is turned in school. But like I said, if you're remote only, then that's fine. Just take a picture. But if you do come to school during pod time, bring this to class, and then I'll collect it later, and then I'll grade it. So that was it. So I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it wasn't too hard, and I hope it's neat. The nice thing about this is it's a good way to learn about these different kinds of colors, and it's also good to learn about color. So we didn't learn all about. There's a lot of information about color, but we learned that's kind of the most important. We learned the most important stuff about color, in my opinion, that we can remember. So have a good week, and I'll see you next time. Bye, and don't forget to take the quiz. Take the quiz. Take the quiz. See you later. Bye.